Your first of 3 NRL games this Super Saturday, round 20 from the Gold Coast. On a glorious day, we are underway. Gold Coast kicking off, and the Canberra Raiders running towards the southern end of Cbus Super Stadium, with Josh Papali'i hoping to replicate his 120 run metres last week. 4 tackle busts, 5 offloads. So it's the 8 and now the 10 with the first 2 carries of the game. Tarpany, nearly 200 run metres, 6 tackle busts. A season high against the Warriors. And the other starting middle forward, this man, Adam Elliott, 6 tackle busts for he as well. And their second half really strong against the Warriors as they came back from 14-0 down. Another carry to Papali'i. Looking to the referee in charge today, Ben Cummins. And it's Tarpany. Look at the leg drive, the post-contact metres. Averaging up above 60 post-contact metres per outing this season. And it's Whiten completing off that left boot. Just a regulation bomb to get us going, and through the air, catching safely. It's Jojo Fafita who's driven towards the sideline and into touch. The Raiders get the ball back. What a result after your opening set.
Yeah, it wasn't the best kick, but it just lands in that little spot, and Jojo, he had to go for it. He couldn't let it bounce. It's a good catch in the end, but just couldn't find the ground, and the Canberra Raiders get there in numbers and put him over the touchline.
Sebastian Chris, the man most responsible, driving Fafita, Jojo Fafita, into touch, so concern straight away for Justin Holbrook. Slow starters last week, the Raiders. They'd love a fast opening here. Papali'i goes inside the 20. Jamal Fogarty waits to the right against his former club and receives the ball now. Here's Elliott Whitehead. Felled by Kelly. Recalled after a couple of games in reserve grade, so to speak. Fogarty long. Tarpany gets away from Booth. He's cleaned up by Aaron Clark, importantly 10 metres out. Wolford. Now Papali'i. Here's White, and they go through the hands. It ends up with Chris, and it's put down now. Backwards is the call. Chotrich and Savage is told that we've spotted a knock on. It was knocked on at the first attempt.
Yeah, it was a flick pass out the back, and Chotrich just wasn't expecting it and hits him up around the face. Oh, it actually gets him right in the face. And they come up with a poor set end. Not what the Canberra Raiders would have liked on their first set on the Gold Coast Titans try line.
And viewers can see how good the Gold Coast appears this afternoon. Billy Moore, is it that way in reality?
It certainly is, boys. Beautiful conditions, 20 degrees, a little bit of cloud, but perfect winner's day. Fast track in a very important game for the Raiders. They've got to win 4 of their last 6 games to make the finals from my calculations.
Yeah, well, the Raiders with a soft run home, relatively speaking. 5 of their final 6 games against teams outside the top 8, including today against the Titans. We're in a battle with the Tigers to avoid the wooden spoon. Clark, they go through Sexton, and now Fermor loses the ball, and that will be called knock on. So Beau Fermor re-signing with the club this week. His opening carry today, though, not as he would have liked.
Yeah, both opportunities have had to gain the football. They've come up with Jojo pushed over the sideline, and then on this occasion, I think the coach might have liked a captain's challenge there. There might have been a hand around the football, but a poor start for the Gold Coast Titans. And to say that it's an important game for the Canberra Raiders, I know it's an important game for the Gold Coast Titans. No side wants to get that wooden spoon.
Absolutely. And they've done it twice already, the Titans. 2011, 2019. There's the Raiders run home. Next weekend against Penrith, looming large. And if you've missed the news, Nathan Cleary likely to be suspended until week 1 of the finals. Beautiful ball into a yawning hole. Matt Timoko straight through, virtually untouched. Great distribution from the Raiders in the centre. This 22-year-old youngster goes straight in.
Yeah, what a start. An error, and then it's Jack Whiten on the other side of the field than he usually plays, just showing his versatility. He comes out, gets a couple of Gold Coast Titans players interested, and then a beautiful little short ball to Timoko, and he goes untouched. A really good start for the Canberra Raiders.
Jack Whiten toying with the defence. Brian Kelly just standing feet planted as Timoko, untouched, not a hand laid on him. One of the Raiders to start every game this season, Matt Timoko.
Yeah, and he's a young fella and he's getting better and better each NRL game he plays. Ricky Stuart showed a lot of faith earlier in the year to put him in. And as we just saw then, he knows how to finish. But what a beautiful footwork from White and to come across. The Gold Coast Titans defence not doing the same thing. Some coming up and in and some just up and holding. And he finds a beautiful hole to run into.
So the two centres, Seb Chris and now Matt Timoko, first and second on the Raiders try-scoring list, both in their early 20s. And Jamal Fogarty, 5 of 6 last week. The first one sails through, 6-0. Perfect start for the Canberra Raiders.
Well, they've got the second worst defence in the comp, the Titans boys, and that's a bad start for them. They weren't able to get away down the other end of the park. 2 errors invited the Raiders down. And that's the sort of thing that you want to see from a Canberra Raiders fan's point of view. If their attack gets in order, they've got really good defence. And I just got a feeling today is the day that the green machine will click.
We just saw Brian Kelly bite on Xavier Savage as the fullback loop around. That was all the opportunity that man, Matt Timoko, required.
Yeah, exactly right. He's got to start doing the defending together. The play around the back is the second option. Defend the front line first and then worry about out the back later on. And they didn't do that on that occasion, the Titans.
Josh Papali'i playing the ball inside his 20. Elliot Whitehead, good to see him back from that knee infection that he described as really painful. Kept him out for a week. Now White kicking early in the tackle count, well inside the 40. And the ball sits up on its point. Brimson in the end has to dive on the ball. There's an attacking play from Canberra.
Well, that's Ricky Stuart all over. That's what he used to do when he was playing, when he coached at the Roosters, when he coached at Cronulla and Parramatta. This is trademark Ricky Stuart tactics. Score and kick early and make them turn around and then get into the opposition defensively.
Well, Whiten's kicked 3 40-20s already this season, 8 across his career. And he fancies his chances of more this afternoon. So Aaron Booth, the dummy half for a third game at Gold Coast after moving from Melbourne. He picks out Tino Fa'asuamaleaui. Nearly 7 minutes gone, and the Raiders on the board already as Brimson kicks. Savage comes forward and messes up the catch. He knocks it on. He was all over the place in that attempt to take the youngster.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think he needed to jump. He had plenty of time. He's jumped and got himself off balance and come up with an error. It was actually a poor kick. The Titans go down the short side and they have to find Brimson. They get some kick pressure and they have to find Brimson, and he comes up with a kick. Now the Titans in really good field position can strike back.
Picked up a leg injury last week, Xavier Savage, and was made to play through the pain. Able to back up this week, no problem, but that's a nervous start. Under no real pressure. It never looked like taking it, so a great attacking position for Gold Coast. Tanner Boyd, it goes to Brimson now. He can't break free of the tackle from Chris. Jojo Fafita for Booth. And Mo Fotuaika just tips it on. It was an awkward pass for Aaron Clark. He puts it down. Horrible, horrible, horrible for the Titans.
Well, the 3 opportunities, as we said, over the touchline from a kick, which we understand from Jojo. And then Beau Fermor comes up with an error on tackle 3. And then we get this on tackle 2. They're just not giving themselves a chance at the moment, the Titans.
Basics have been costing Gold Coast all season. Just 3 wins so far, so 3 and 15 on this 8-game losing streak. And Canberra are here to cash in. Albert Hopewadi scored the try last week that sparked the Canberra comeback. And here's the try scorer this afternoon. Timoko. Good go forward after contact. Now Papali'i through the middle, shouldering his way into Booth. 4 Titans required to bring the Canberra big man down. Wolford and Tarpany. He's tackled by Fafita and Fa'asuamaleaui. Whiten again. Elliott. Nice and direct. The Newcastle-bound Adam Elliott. Final play. Here's White. Whiten runs the ball. There's support on the inside. It's Xavier Savage who flicks it out. It's taken by Fermor. But again, they look dangerous, the Raiders.
Yeah, nice play. Jack Whiten going down his favourite left-hand side. He found a bit of space back on the inside with Savage, and he's got some wheels on him. He's limping a little back into position, but he goes down there and flicks the ball out the end. A good place to turn the football over if he can't score.
So Herbert goes long. And now Fafita gets away from the attempted tackle from Timoko. Mo Fotuaika. The Tongan international and Queensland origin player told to go back to the mark. On the final play, they're kicking from only 30 metres out. Sexton, long down the ground. It's taken on the full, and Chotrich. Look at the room that opens up for Nick Chotrich. That's a good tackle. Phil Sami, legs tackle, one-on-one.
Yeah, and it all comes from the kick pressure. They get some kick pressure on Toby Sexton, and he has to kick it high over the defensive line, and then the Canberra Raiders get an opportunity to catch it on the full and bring it back at least 20 metres.
So 10 minutes gone. And Canberra, the body language looks good. Strong start, ahead on the scoreboard. Elliott goes inside the 20. Fermor makes the tackle along with Booth. We'll go to White for the final play, who puts it through the hands to Fogarty. Here's Grubber into the in goal. Brimson wriggles back into the field of play just. Tanner Boyd finds Kelly. Hard meters here for Gold Coast.
Yeah, some really good work from the fullback AJ Brimson just to get out. Now he needs his outside backs, and then later in the tackle count, his big boys to roll upfield and get a good kick away just to get into this game. At the moment, they're just fighting their way out of trouble. We're going to probably get a penalty here for a steal in the tackle, exactly what they needed.
Yeah, Herbert signalled straight away as soon as the ball came free. Moving to that left wing role to accommodate the return of Brian Kelly. What do you made of both teams through the first 11 minutes, Shane? The Raiders look like they have their heads switched on and they're here to play for the full 80 minutes.
Yeah, agree. They've just, the forwards have done what they've had to do. Their two front rows have definitely settled into the game. And they've had some, obviously scored a try from that scrum, where on the other side, the Titans just wasted possession. 3 times they've turned the football over. They need to be better.
Sexton to Fotuaika, who was thinking about an offload and pulls the trigger for Brimson. Your body's in motion. It comes down for the Gold Coast fullback. Now Clark. Make this Gold Coast number 13 jumper his own going forward. Booth, he wants the 9 jersey. As the kick is beautiful. Fantastic Tanner Boyd. It sits up perfectly for Brian Kelly. Boyd for Kelly, and the Titans answer the try.
Well, it's definitely one of the Titans' strengths is their short kicking game. Last week they scored 4 tries off kicks, and on this occasion they just go down this left-hand side, and Tanner Boyd just feels there's a little bit of space in behind the defensive line and just dabs a little kick in there for his centre, Kelly, and then a beautiful bounce and a catch, and they're back.
It was perfect, the execution. Tanner Boyd's kick and the bounce. It was meant to be for Brian Kelly. Last week playing for Ipswich in the Queensland Cup, or for Tweed Heads against Ipswich. Try assist, a couple of tries. And Justin Holbrook said, come back to the NRL.
Yeah, it was really smart play. When you have a look at it from the high view, you see that Savage is on the left-hand side of the play the ball, and there is a lot of space behind the defensive line, but Tanner Boyd realised that, put the little kick in behind on an early tackle, just the right weight.
Tanner Boyd off the bench for most of the season. This is his 3rd straight game as the run on 6. As this spine change has continued all season for Gold Coast. Toby Sexton from right in front levels us up at 6-all.
Well, boys, it's normally Toby Sexton, the one putting the little kicks through last game here against Brisbane. He put in 2 off kicks that they scored from. So having his wingman doing it as well makes for a lethal little attacking option around the rucks late in the tackle count. They've scored the 5th most amount of tries off kicks, so it's something they're very, very good at. And if the Raiders invite them down there into the park, they'll take up the opportunity.
It's a good point, Billy, because despite Gold Coast's struggle, Toby Sexton has had more attacking kicks than any player bar Nathan Cleary in the league. He's forced the most dropouts, so there's been plenty of opportunity for him to kick in attack.
Yeah, there has been, and whilst a lot of the time that tries don't come from his kicks, he does get a lot of repeat sets. Last week, Aaron Booth, he jumped out of dummy half and kicked for Toby Sexton try. So they've got a really good combination there on that short kicking game and obviously the chase.
Here's Tino Fa'asuamaleaui. So if Boyd can complement what Toby Sexton has done and put a bit of doubt into the defenders, it may assist Gold Coast through the back end of this campaign as they try to rack up as many wins as possible. Booth to Boyd down the short side. And he runs into Elliott Whitehead and Joe Tarpany. Now Sexton goes high. Xavier Savage under no pressure, makes the catch safely this time. And Savage brings the ball back. Just 20 years of age. Product of Cairns. When asked about his injury last week, Ricky Stewart just put it down to youth. Told him to stay out there and get over it.
Yeah, and that's another Ricky Stewart little trait. A young fella, his first year in the NRL, got a bit of an injury, and at some stage here in his career, he's going to have to play with injury, and that's a little Ricky Stewart ploy. Make him stay out there, toughen him up a little bit.
The Canberra coach in his preferred position, sideline. And now Wolford goes through Elliott, Papali'i. Fogarty joins in. Timoko tried the big fend on Brian Kelly, who was having none of it. So the rival centres, Timoko and Kelly, the try scorers so far as the kick comes off the boot of Fogarty. Taken by White, pushed on, still on. Sebastian Chris goes to Chotrich. And now Hudson Young, with a couple of touches in that play, takes the tackle.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to turn it over, but I'm sure the Canberra Raiders would have loved to get a nice little kick into the end goal, get a repeat set. Now they just need to make sure that they don't give a 6 again or a penalty coming out of trouble.
And they're dominating the possession and the position, the Raiders, and they're looking to pin Gold Coast down here. Is it Fodawaker or Fa'asuamaleaui to lead them out, or maybe the referee's whistle?
There you go. It's such a big part of the game these days that you've got to be disciplined, especially inside that 40-metre zone where they've changed the rule that they give a penalty rather than a 6 again. As you'll see, Toby Sexton, he'll kick it well downfield and they'll be in real good field position. They're just coming off their try line. Now they'll be attacking the opposition's try line.
You can see the fans on the eastern side of Seabus Super Stadium. They saw their team win the first 2 games of the season here, but they've dropped their past 6. As Fodawaker muscles up through the middle. Tackled by Young. Sexton under pressure. It was AJ Brimson trying to twist away from Fogarty unsuccessfully. Now Fafita inside the 20. Timoko around his legs. Booth for Boyd, and here's Fa'asuamaleaui. Good tackle, Papali'i. Booth with Fodawaker as his wingman. Last play, Gold Coast. Only metres out, Booth. Grubbers towards the end goal. Bo Fermor. Well, there's a reward for inking a new deal this week. He scores Gold Coast's second try and takes the Titans to the lead.
Yeah, this team can score points off kicks, but it's really smart play. I saw this last week. Aaron Booth came out and kicked for Sexton. On this occasion, he comes out, he threads the needle, and that's an art, and he gets it through, and Bo Fermor chases as hard as he can and doesn't give up on the kick and just gets it down. Yes, he does, before the dead ball line.
Great desperation, Bo Fermor. He was signed at Gold Coast until 2024, or did he get it ground? To ground.
It looked good on the first replay, but I think it's bounced. There's a little bit of separation.
It's awkward when the ball is bouncing up and your hands are going down for there not to be some sort of separation. When you slow it down frame by frame like this.
When the ball is still coming up and your hands are going down, that's where it becomes a problem.
I didn't do real well at physics, Shane, but basic physics tell me that is very hard to control.
Very unlucky, boys.
Play's been
a young lad from Dalby. I think he's the future of this club. You talk about Fafita on the left edge, but this guy on the right has really grown in 2022. Got a great future in our game.
So Casey Badger in the bunker reviewing this grounding from Beau Fermor.
Beau Fermor knocks on in the in goal. We have a decision.
The Dalby Devils Junior signed at Gold Coast until the end of 24, extending this week until the end of 2026. So you're right, Billy, very much a future member of the Gold Coast setup.
Yeah, he runs a real good line. He's powerful. And as we just saw there, got a real understanding of the game and chased hard as good edge back rolls do on that kick.
Yeah, 20-metre restart. Zach, no, wait.
We're frustrated for that scoreboard to be rewound back to level terms. Justin Holbrook.
It's important that they don't get frustrated there, Matty, is that they just keep going. They've shown that they can get down there and nearly score points. Just stay in the game, and then obviously the points will come if they defend well.
He couldn't have been frustrated with the decision. Maybe the fact that they'd had the try taken off them, but the decision was the correct call. And now Savage crosses halfway. Nearly halfway through this opening period, Hudson Young has been a good try scorer for the Raiders this season with 6. Elliott goes to Papali'i. Tarpany with the flick offload for Elliott Whitehead, who can't control the ball. He coughs up possession, and Tanner Boyd cleans up. Patrick Herbert. The offload ability of Joe Tarpany all season. What a feature.
Yeah, and his teammates would have known that was coming. It was just probably a little bit hard. It was probably should have been caught, but it was probably a little bit hard in hindsight, and a wasted opportunity for the Raiders. Very similar to how the Titans started now. The Raiders just not respecting the football and undisciplined. Some penalties in yardage.
Aaron Clark, good run. Plenty of metres, plenty of go forward after the defence arrived here. 4 tackles down. It's with Fermor out to Sami. Tackled by Young. And now Sexton hoists it. No one there keen to make the catch for Canberra. Just giving Brian Kelly a free crack at it and then surrounding him. That's dangerous territory there for the Raiders.
Very dangerous, and especially when we know this Titans side loves scoring tries off kicks, and there's another opportunity that they just gave them that he could have got an offload. They surrounded him and eventually taken to ground, but very, very dangerous.
So Hopewadi starts the set now. This man, Matt Timoko. 1 try each as Chotrich takes Canberra beyond the 20. Good run. Nick Chotrich back for his second stint at the Raiders. Elliott to Papali'i, down low for Fafita. Makes the stop. Wolford to Elliott, who's had a busy start to this game, and he goes straight through, linking with Tarpany. He shrugs away from Herbert, and Tino Fasul-Malawi wraps up the ball. Final play from 25 out. Fogarty long, Whiten inside the 20. Here's Chris, the inside play for Young. The offload, beautifully taken by Chotrich. What a try, Canberra. Nick Chotrich with so much work to do. Great ball handling, fantastic finishing, and the Raiders go back in front.
Yeah, what a great finish, but it's a run from Adam Elliott further upfield. He's just got something different about his game. He skips up, he goes a little bit sideways, throws the dummy and pushes through, and then offloads. And from that play of the ball, tackle 5, they shift it out to the left, and there's some beautiful hands. Hudson Young gets a late pass, gets it off the inside, and then flicks it out the back, and that's a great catch by Kotrich. And he knows how to find the try line. Has to do a bit of work to get there as well.
Dally M, Rookie of the Year in 2017. He's played for New South Wales and Australia after that one season at Canterbury. He's back on a wing at the Raiders. And the local junior back scoring tries. This his 5th of the campaign.
Yeah, I remember when he first started the Canberra Raiders, he was so powerful in play 1s, 2 and 3, and that probably got him into the rep teams. And then he had a bit of a lean period, and obviously the time at the Dogs. But he's back home now. He looks happy, and he's scoring tries.
So 54 across his career now, 123 games old. Jamal Fogarty. I mentioned his strike rate last season. Last week, 5 from 6. He's 23 of 28 now this season since his return. 8 games back from that knee injury that cost him the first half of the year. From the eastern sideline, beautiful, little bit of fade. It drops in, 12-6 Canberra.
Great try there by the Raiders. They're getting the second phase play happening, boys. And the money ball for mine, how good was that pass from Hudson Young? Gets lost a little bit of the noise sometimes, other players around him, but I just think that he's grown in stature in 2022, and I can just see the future for him looks very good as well.
Ricky Stewart liking it sideline. They've got a big game next week against Penrith. But first they need 2 points here to keep this run going. Shooting for 3 straight wins this afternoon. Papawati takes the kickoff. Goes to Papali'i. Their middle forwards building more big metres. Papali'i up over 70 now. Tarpany nearly 60 and Adam Elliott above 50.
Hudson Young's got he's one of those players that has got points and things happen around him. There was a game really early in the season against Cronulla that he set a try up real late in the half, and they actually won that game against Cronulla. And then a couple of weeks ago, it was all tied up, and they threw the ball to him on tackle 5, and he kicked for a try, which got them the win.
Absolutely. Down in Canberra, the kick here is a good one, turning Jojo Fafita around, and he gets to ground. He seeks safety. Only just in the field of play. He was in real danger of being trapped in goal there, Jojo Fafita, and now the Titans are in real danger of not getting beyond their 20 before they have to kick. Who's going to give them some go forward? Herbert picked up and driven backwards again. This is good from the Raiders. Booth, the dummy half. Goes to Kelly just beyond his 10-metre line on tackle 4. Now Fafita. They needed a big bullocking run from him. He was stopped by Tarpany, and yep, they kick on their 20-metre line. Sexton gives it all he can. And the bounce for Xavier Savage, you can see the territory battle that Canberra are winning right here. Savage away almost. From behind, it's Fotuaker over the top.
Nothing quick.
So high contact called, and that's a direct result, Shane Flanagan, of that defensive set from the Raiders last set.
Yeah, beautiful kick right down into the far corner. And then they muscled up defensively, but they're also disciplined defensively. They didn't give a penalty. They didn't give a 6 again, obviously, because it was inside the 40-metre zone. You defend well, these things happen to you. They come down the other end, they get a penalty, and now they're in real good field position.
The Raiders have won 8 of their past 10 against Gold Coast, most by big margins. 15 minutes left in the opening half here. Ahead by a converted try. It's with White on to Adam Elliott. One of their best in the opening period. Tarpany now. Passing close to the line for his fellow front rower, Papali'i. Wolford points left, brings it right momentarily. Timoko, Savage, he's jumping around. Still going, Xavier Savage. He attracts 3 defenders eventually. Tarpany goes it alone. Still going Tarpany. There's the offload. Hudson Young. Just short. Important tackle, Aaron Booth. Wolford to Tarpany. 6 again call, so they reload the Raiders. You can see how close they are. Gold Coast desperately defending their line. Whitehead. The ball wrapped up by Kelly. He can't strip the ball. It comes free. Penalty.
Just right there, nothing quick. I already called Hill, mate. Oh,
There's the explanation from Ben Cummins.
Wait for the tap.
Called held, then ripped the ball free.
Okay, Zach.
Can they hold on? Gold Coast, late in the half, on their own line. Fogarty for Papali'i. He passes to Elliott.
Bring it up now, Adam.
And Adam is a metre short. Wolford through Fogarty. Here's White passing for Chris. He doesn't use Chotrich. Takes the tackle and Nick goes out of dummy half. Nick Chotrich gets a first half double. It's easy for the winger. Playing that number 9 role and strolling in.
Well, we spoke about how strong he is at the other end of the field, and he gets his opportunity down on the Titans try line. Some really nice footy from the Canberra Raiders. They're skipping up, trying to get to the outside, and then Kotrick just comes out, right foot, gets back onto the inside of some poor defence, and he's too big and strong from that close if you don't have good contact. But well done, the Canberra Raiders. Applied pressure, got a penalty, and then come up with points.
You class 2 of the 3 tries scored by Canberra as soft, Shane. There are worrying signs for the Titans, even with 12 and a half to play in the first half here.
Yeah, there is. The Canberra Raiders, obviously they let a try in from a kick, and the Titans have given them some, a few leg ups through penalties and undisciplined play defensively. But there's a lot of breaks being made. We've seen Adam Elliott poke his nose through and get some opportunities. Hudson Young on the other side of the field. And Whiten looks dangerous every time he carries the football. So some worrying signs for the Titans.
Zach Wolford takes a seat in his 10th NRL game. Tom Starling, a man who's played every game this season for the Raiders. Off the bench, it is Starling time. 12 to go in the first half against a tiring opposition.
Well, watch out. If your markers aren't set and they get some quick play of the balls, Tom Starling will take all advantage of it. He's fast and he's got a nice pass out of dummy half.
Fogarty yet to miss this afternoon. That one goes into a post. 16-6 to Canberra, Billy Moore.
Bench rotations, boys. Jolliffe's coming on. Usually makes an impact when he does. But for the Raiders, and it's probably bad news for the Titans, Tom Starling comes on, replaces Wolford. Tom Starling out of dummy half. If it fatigues and gets loose around the ruck, he will carve them up.
Equal first at Canberra in terms of try assists, Tom Starling, which is saying something, given the talent that's out there, the likes of White, and given the fact that Starling has spent a lot of the season coming off the bench.
And with 11 minutes to go in this first half, the fatigue factor for those middle forwards obviously is in. And Tom Starling coming out of there, he's got a nice short pass. You've got to worry about his run. And then if there's any offload, especially from the big middles there, he'll take advantage of it.
So the Raiders through Whitehead, trying to get beyond their 20. Up next, a beauty. Cronulla against South Sydney from the Shire. The Sharks beaten last week, but before that, 5 in a row. And South Sydney into this game on a 4-game winning streak since Latrell Mitchell returned. That's next on Fox League. Cronulla against South Sydney. Here's Hopewati.
Sharks at home.
No Dale Finucane, but Cam McInnes into the starting lineup. And Aidan Tolman into the 17. Here's Adam Elliott taking tackle 5. Fogarty at a ground he knows well. Elects to go high. Bringing Herbert off his wing, who catches well. And Jamal Fogarty, the now Canberra half, actually captained Gold Coast over the last couple of seasons. 26 times in total across those 2 years. Playing his former club for the first time. The Raiders number 7. Jojo Fafita. Stopped by White and Young. Now Grimson. Furmore finds Jolliffe as Brittany Moore pointed out now into the game. He's 14th of the season. Sexton really measures this kick, pumping it high across the field to Chotrich. They've been good at the back, apart from one Xavier Savage drop.
Yeah, it was early on, and I think he just needed... He's caught one since, and he's got back into the game. Bit of a mix-up out of dummy half here. But this is where the Canberra Raiders have been so good. They've been... Most of the time, they've got good field position. Their back five have carried the ball out, and Jack White not happy with that.
Albert Hopewadi once more. Keen for work. Starling going to Ryan Sutton. Off the bench now for Ricky Stewart. White stabs at the ball and finds no man's land. Brimson hurrying back into his in-goal. AJ Brimson again is going to be trapped in his 10-metre line. The kicking game from the Raiders this afternoon, Shane Flanagan. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's outstanding, and Jack White, and obviously we spoke earlier, Ricky Stewart encourages to kick early if you're in good field position, and Jack White kicks early, and he's the first one down. He doesn't sit and wait and watch his kick. He kicks and chases.
Josh Papali'i's first stint as we see him take a seat. 93 run metres. Here's some run metres for Herbert. Straight through. Patrick Herbert comes to Savage, who makes contact, wraps up the ball, and stops the Gold Coast winger. Now Sexton. Here's Brimson. Changing direction. And he's flung to ground by Hudson Young. That's tackle 5. Booth to Sexton. The kick into the legs of Fogarty, who hurries forward and will clean up. Fogarty rounded up quickly by Kelly. So they survive the Raiders, and it's the former Titan helping them do so.
Exactly. He knew exactly what was coming. He knew where the ball was going. It was go to Toby Sexton. He knows what a quality kick he has, a short kicking game, and he gets himself in front of him and charges it down and gets possession for his team.
So apart from the try, the Titans' most dangerous show of the first half. There's an offload from Tarpany, who didn't like the contact with Booth. There's a bit of afters on the ground there, bottom of screen. Now Savage dummies and runs, but play will be stopped because it's flared up in back play. So the original dispute was between Fasua Malaawi and Aaron Booth, and then it's escalated from there. I didn't see a lot of fists flying. It was more push and shove, as is so often the case these days, Shane.
Yeah, that's all there is these days, and a bit of jumper grabbing.
Okay, take him back. Elliot, take him back.
I think we'll find we'll go back to the error to knock on by the Canberra Raiders.
Joe, next one.
He just didn't like getting hit around the legs as he offloaded the football.
Yeah, Joe Tarpany must have felt what he thought was cannonball as Aaron Booth comes in right at the knee. So you've got to be above the knees, quads or higher. It's a fine run thing, that, Shane Flanagan. Is it shoulder contact with the quads then slipping down to knee level?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's even up around the buttocks. He hits him hard and it ends up down the bottom. You know, Tino had offloaded the football at the same, just on the point of impact.
So Ben Cummins in discussions with Casey Badger as they review this tackle.
For mine, boys, he's got him around the top of the hamstrings. It ended up not looking too pretty, but his initial point of contact is definitely the hamstrings.
You're right, Billy. It's underlined, illustrated by that replay. Top of the hamstrings then slipping down, and the tackle became awkward because of the force used by Aaron Booth at the high leg level. So still waiting for the review here. Tino Fasua Malaawi, Gold Coast captain, and Elliot Whitehead, the Raiders leader.
It has been cleared. You can't take control of it. You're throwing a punch.
10 in the bin. For Joe Tarpany, there was a punch. Spotted by the bunker, relayed to Ben Cummins.
That'll be a penalty against you.
And as per our review, tackle deemed legal. Joe Tarpany took objection, and they've spotted a punch thrown by Joe, I assume towards Aaron Booth.
Yeah, well, it makes it a real big 7 minutes, 7 and a bit minutes before half time for the Canberra Raiders with 12 men, and obviously they come up with an error, so I think you'll find, well, it's going to be a Gold Coast Titans penalty anyway.
There was that classed as a punch, a shot to the ribs.
I think it was the first one.
That was more of I'd call it a swinging grab. But anyway, we won't define punching right now because we'll be here all afternoon. Certainly Aaron Booth given the roughhouse treatment by Tarpany, and he pays 10 minutes as a result. Gold Coast through Jolliffe. Can they cash in against a 12-man Canberra team? Sexton to Fasul-Malaawi, and a good tackle from Sutton around the legs. Sexton, Jolliffe, a jolting tackle from Elliott Whitehead in conjunction with Adam Elliott. Booth for Tino. Fasul-Malaawi pulls the arm free but couldn't find the goal line. Starling there to deny. Booth deep, and now the kick. The kick from Aaron Clark is too heavy, and they hand Canberra 7 tackles. And it's a penalty to Gold Coast. Offside Canberra. There's a let-off.
Yeah, definitely a let-off. I don't think that's Aaron Clark's role within the football team. His job is to run and distribute the football. He goes for the kick and it goes dead, but he got lucky. The Canberra Raiders offside.
Multiple Raiders offside, perhaps led by Elliott Whitehead. Here's Clark, not thinking about kicking this time. Booth. In front of Jolliffe for Sexton. Furmore wrapped up by White and Seb Chris, along with Hudson Young. They come back to the left. It's Sexton again. Jolliffe straight, looks for an offload. Elects to hold the ball. And now onto the field, fresh man for the Gold Coast. Manessa Esse finishes his run just short. Out of dummy half. Booth claims the try. Ball comes free. How will Ben Cummins rule this one?
Yeah, coming into 5. Case. Coming into tackle 5. I have no try. Just want to make sure he loses that. Just where he does lose it.
As he lost the ball in the act of grounding the ball.
I have no idea at this stage.
Just looking to see if Aaron Booth maintains possession.
The ball comes free before the ball touches the grass.
It's actually his own hand underneath the football, I feel, when he goes down there. It's that his own hand is underneath the ball.
Just want to see if he's lost the ball or if Ryan Sutton strips the ball. The ball isn't down on the ground at this point, it's on his own arm.
So is it stripped by Ryan Sutton, or is it stripped by Starling, or is it lost?
Ryan Sutton strips the ball in the act of scoring.
So this is a live ball here now.
Ryan Sutton strips the ball in the act of scoring and knocks the ball forward. He then regains possession. We have a decision.
So knock on against the Raiders.
Let me explain it to you, Elliot.
No try, and Ben Cummins to explain the decision to Elliott Whitehead.
So in the act of scoring, it's been stripped by Ryan Sutton. Ryan has stripped it forward, regained it, so it's a knock-on. No try. We have a knock-on from Canberra. Stripped there in the act of scoring. Scrum.
So 5.5 minutes left in the opening half. More ball for Gold Coast. Against a 12-man Canberra team. If you've joined us late, Joe Tarpany, sin bin for throwing a punch in a flare-up with Gold Coast Aaron Booth and Justin Holbrook. What play has he drawn up here? In great attacking position late in the first half.
Well, it won't make too much difference to the Canberra Raiders scrum. They'll only put 5 in but those two back rows have got to get out quickly and help their first defender off the ruck.
Stay in there, Aaron. Stay in there. Hold, right.
From the back of the scrum, it's Boyd on to Brimson. You feel that AJ might be the target a couple of times in this set. Booth, and now Fafita, shrugging clear of one tackle. Then they number up. Look at all the green jerseys swarming over David Fafita. Brimson on for Jolliffe. Jolliffe can't step his way through, taking the tackle from Chris. Aaron Clark, passing, quick hand, Sexton, ball to ground, and now Kelly knocks the ball on. Gold Coast can't get through the set. Again, incompletions in great position costs them.
Yeah, poor error. It was interesting from that scrum. The Gold Coast Titans back rowers, both Fermor and Fafita, swapped sides. Fafita went over to the right, Fermor over to the left. But they come up with the error.
There's the incident that had Tarpany sin-binned, and as a result, Canberra defending with 12 men.
Very little in that fight, boys, but that's the way the game is. You look like you throw a punch, you're off. So he's put his team under pressure, but the Green Machine's responding. This next 5 minutes is critical for the Green Machine. If they go in with no points conceded, could be a match-defining moment.
Yeah, about 3 minutes of the second half with 12 as well. Here's Hopewadi.
Wouldn't have been a penalty in Billy's day.
Oh, no.
It'll just play on.
Adam Elliott. Here's Ryan Sutton. Bound for Canterbury on a 3-year deal from next season. Hoping for a big finish in the capital. As Elliott goes up above 100 run metres in the first half with that carry. Starling for Fogarty. His kick straight down the ground. It's a bomb for Brimson, who's underneath it and collecting safely. Sexton for Jojo Fafita. And Jaden Campbell into the action for the Titans. We wondered how Holbrook might use the jack-in-the-box on the bench. Well, with 12 Raiders in the defensive line, maybe now is a good time. Fermor. Esse tried to position himself for an offload. The Raiders were having none of it. And Tanner Boyd out of dummy half for Brimson to chip. Looking for Herbert to fly through. Or Kelly. Savage knocks the ball over the dead ball line. Gold Coast to get it back.
Yeah, nice kick in the end. They just needed the bounce and they nearly got it. AJ goes down that edge. Once again, a really good chase. And Savage just gets a touch on it.
Just gets enough of it. The bounce was awkward for the fullback. He just got enough of it to knock it over the dead ball line, but there's still 2 minutes left. Canberra under pressure late in the half. Jack Whiten sends the goal line dropout, 45. A long way in the modern game as Jolliffe comes back and takes the tackle from Starling. Boyd for Campbell, who goes on quickly. Here's Sami, Philip Sami, almost away from Whiten. Held by Seb Chris, and importantly so. Fafita out of dummy half. Can David wind up here? Driven sideways and short of the line. Fafita deep, he finds Campbell. On for Boyd. Now Aaron Clark, he's Sexton. Brimson has the ball. AJ Brimson is handled well. Tackle 4 now for the Titans. Clark with the offload. Tanner Boyd. Now it goes to Campbell, and good tackle, Jack Whiten. They were short to the left. Whiten rounds them up. Now Boyd dummies and goes himself. Tanner Boyd on the final play runs the ball. Canberra's defensive line was shot, and finally Gold Coast get their second.
Yeah, he's got number 6 on his back, but he's played a lot at number 9, and it just shows here he's handled the ball twice in this set. He jumps into dummy half, and obviously they've got Fafita on that side, and he's a bit of a bait, and he comes out, throws the dummy. Xavier Savage takes it. Some really nice play. He's powerful, he's fast. Some good vision, and just what the Gold Coast Titans needed just before half-time.
Well, a man who's scored 1 try in each of his last 3 seasons takes the tally to 2 this year. Tanner Boyd. His 13th game of 2022. As I mentioned earlier, predominantly off the bench, but this is his 3rd in a row as starting 6, but as you illustrated, playing that 9 role as well.
Yeah, well, with Kieran Foran coming to the club next year, I think it could be a position that he, makes his own, whether it's him and Booth, interchange there.
Just what Gold Coast wanted on the stroke of half-time. Their 2nd try to close the gap to 4 points. At the break, it's 3 tries to 2. The Raiders 16 over the Titans 12. Gold Coast chasing the club's 150th Premiership win. And more importantly, trying to snap this 8-game losing streak. The last 6 games at home, all defeats. And Jaden Campbell off the bench, back from injury. Played just above 20 minutes last week. He'll get more minutes if he plays this second half, having come on late in the first period.
Yeah, they need all those try assists and line break assists and line breaks they can in this second half. He's not a big man, that's for sure, but he's so dangerous with the football in hand.
Yeah, it was half an hour last week on return, and he was on late in that first half. There's a former Titan, the former Titans captain, Jamal Fogarty, now at Canberra, getting us back underway. The first of 3 NRL games this Super Saturday, and Cbus Super Stadium hoping to make some noise for their team if this comeback continues. So Aaron Clark finding AJ Brimson wearing number 1, but playing in the halves to start this second half with Jaden Campbell out there. Here's Clark, just lifted momentarily by Sutton. Now Tanner Boyd to the line, SA, felled by Fogarty. Clark again, Jolliffe looking for an offload. Sexton was there and waiting, but he didn't receive the ball and instead turns to complete the opening set. It's a kick to Xavier Savage. And under no pressure, the youngster goes back beyond his 10.
What an outstanding set for the Titans. The whole 100 metres they went, kicked into the corner, they poked their nose through a couple of times. A really good start to this second half.
Less than a minute before it's 13 on 13 again. Joe Tarpany sin-binned late in that first half. Gold Coast 6-0 leaders during that 10-minute period. Starling goes to Elliott. They controlled the game really nicely early and were building quite the performance. Now Fogarty goes high. Campbell watches the floating ball, lets it bounce in fact. Back for the Canberra Raiders. Hudson Young gets a hand on the ball. Now he passes. Seb Chris keeps it alive. Chotrich, the chip and chase. Chris is there again. Now he's wrapped up and finally they'll change it over. But Gold Coast had to wait and ride their luck after letting the kick bounce. Here is again from Fogarty, Shane.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about this one. He must have just lost it in that last little bit and he lets it bounce, inviting danger into your camp in that field position with a lot of Canberra Raiders around the football.
I got it. No, yours, Jojo. And they were very lucky to escape that last-minute decision. Clark, as Joe Tarpany returns to the field. We're back in 13 on 13. Strong in his opening to this game. Now Campbell, held by Starling. To the little men, head-to-head there. Now it's Brimson for Essa. Completion, no. Sexton finds Fafita. And Fafita has to offload the ball, goes back to his halfback. Tanner Boyd kicks the man to his left in front of him, and Xavier Savage diffuses the bomb comfortably. What are you looking for from both teams in this first 10 to 15 of the second half, Shane?
Well, in the first 10 minutes of the game, the Titans turned the football over on 3 occasions. At least in this first part, they've been really good. Their first set was outstanding, went 100 metres. You just got to get yourself back into the game, and especially for the Titans, just play some football. You don't have to get points straight away, just be in the game.
Whiten still going, away from Clark. What a run, Jack Whiten. Beating 3 defenders ultimately. Young for Savage, now Tarpany. After a nice big break either side of half-time. Savage pulled down one-on-one, Essa. Starling to Fogarty, who kicks at the 10, into the in-goal, and they get back into the field of play, but only momentarily. It's a wall of lime green, and they force the goal line dropout. They make the kick a very, very good one.
Yeah, and it's Jamal Fogarty comes up with the first contact. Whiten going down the short edge. He's so dangerous and strong, pushing and shoving and offloading. And then they go their last play, and it was a really good tackle by Fogarty, the first contact, and then the troops come in. If you just see here, he slips off, and then Fogarty comes in. Really good strength. And his teammates come and help.
Coaches always talk about building pressure. Always gets a mention at half-time. The run by White and the kick from Fogarty and the chase allows them to do that now. A short goal line dropout. Well, it's a mid-range goal line dropout. Hopawati catches the ball. He lost it as Brian Kelly arrived, and the Titans get a result. Brian Kelly monstering Hopawati and forcing the error.
Yeah, real interesting. Hopawati facing his own try line, and as he hits the ground, the ball comes loose, but does it go back towards his own try line? I still feel it's a knock-on.
It's a knock-on in the modern game, even though the ball at no point appeared to be propelled towards the opposition goal line.
Correct.
That has only gone backwards, but in the game as we know it, a drop like that is called knock-on. So Gold Coast's completion rate just shading Canberra's, and now on cue that completion rate takes a dive on play 1, Shane.
Yeah, young Campbell, I'm sure he wished he had his time again. He tries to go over the top on tackle 1 from the scrum, and his coach won't be happy. He's been brought into the team to score some points and add a bit of flair, but just too much.
Deep breaths, Justin Holbrook. Channel whatever healer you've employed after that. Just channel the calm thoughts as Canberra goes straight back on the attack.
Easy for you to say, sitting in this commentary box.
You've had plenty of healers, Shane Flanagan. Which one worked best? And don't tell me the one in the little brown bottle at the end of the day. Now, Fogarty across the ground. Here's Whiten. On for Chris. Seb Chris! Into the in-goal, but held up by Jojo Fafita, along with Sexton. The Raiders' leading try scorer almost had his 9th. So Whiten goes to Elliott, Tarpany and Sutton. Starling from 10 out. Look at the wind up here from Adam Elliott. He wants a try. He wants his 3rd of the campaign. Starling looking both ways. Here's Sutton with the offload. Joe Tarpany bouncing around. And Tarpany takes plenty of tackling. Now the last, and it's Fogarty through the line into the in-goal. Coming through, Hudson Young, try number 7 of the season. Fogarty's kick wasn't cleaned up, and Hudson Young is having some sort of try-scoring year.
Well, we spoke about him in the first half. He's just one of those players that things happen around him. The reason that happens is because he's always puts himself in the picture. As we watch Adam Elliott, he come charged on that football, and I think he's just got a cork. but the ball, the shape of it, the kick, he gets a terrible bounce, Sexton, but it's a chase from Hudson Young. As I said, he just never gives up. He chases hard, got a good skill set, and he gets it down just before the dead ball line. A well-deserved Canberra Raiders try.
It was Toby Sexton, the wicked bounce off the point, up over his shoulder. And as a result, Hudson Young said, I'll come through and score. A late try scorer to win the game against Newcastle. He also scored the following week in a loss to St George Illawarra. And now 3 games down the track, he's in again. Also scored in back-to-back rounds 10 and 11. And set the tone by scoring in the first game of the season. But here's a concern, Adam Elliott, very good for the Raiders so far, hobbling off. Billy Moore will be all over that in a moment as Jamal Fogarty sizes up a 10-point lead for the Raiders. And it's there now. Billy Moore, just the start after half-time that the Raiders desired, although not necessarily with that man hobbling off.
Exactly right, Matty. Ricky said at half-time he wanted enthusiasm and intensity, and as Flato mentioned, Hudson Young brings that in spades, and yet again, that was no skill there. That was just pushing up off the ball and really wanting to be a part of the play. So he brings energy. That's exactly what Ricky Stewart wanted. For the Titans, Tanner Boyd out of number 9 is posing a threat. It looks like he's making a good fist at dummy half line.
Well, they need more of it, Billy. Having conceded the first try of the second half. Emre Gula off a big game last week against the Warriors, more than 100 run metres. His average 60 per game, so he was way up on his regular contribution last week.
Yeah, he's a good player. He played in their grand final a couple of years ago. Can play big minutes, but if you have a look at how that try occurred, they got possession from the dropout, but then it was the young fullback that went for the looping pass over from the scrum and just gave the Canberra Raiders just too many opportunities early on in the second half.
Another strong run by Papali'i puts the Raiders, or Tarpany it was, on the front foot. Whitehead off the back of that. Now Fogarty goes high again. Jaden Campbell just in the field of play. His catch is a good one. He evades Papawati, but not Gula. He's playing NRL game 50, so a mini milestone for Emre this afternoon. And it's a great afternoon on Fox League. Cronulla against South Sydney next. Then Brisbane hosting West's Tigers at Suncorp Stadium tonight. The Broncos have won 6 straight at Suncorp Stadium. Now Isaac Liu, the premiership winning Rooster, in his first year at Gold Coast. Brimson goes on for Furmore. They've come 50 metres in this set. And Campbell gets the kick away. There was contact as he kicked the ball. And now it's allowed to bounce, still there. Picked up now by Hudson Young. Play on. The contact all good on young Campbell. And it appeared to be simultaneous as he kicks. And he was kicking off the ground, so
interesting.
Play on.
Interesting. Sometimes that can be penalised because there was no wrapping action in the tackle. You've got to actually go in and wrap your arms around and tackle the player.
Josh Papali'i about to come back on. Xavier Savage through Starling. Now Sutton passing at the line for Gula. Poor pass out of dummy half, and Whiten runs the ball as a result. Still going, Whiten finds Young. Hudson Young, beautiful, a flick offload for Seb Chris. Well, they had to manufacture something. After the pass out of dummy half was poor, it's some creation. Out of horrible comes beautiful.
Yeah, exactly right. The Canberra Raiders and that man on screen, Jack Whiten, he got a terrible pass out of dummy half. He just bided his time. He didn't rush it. He made sure he got the pick up right. He picks it up, gets on the outside of Fafita and pulls through 2 tackles there, gets the offload to that man again, Hudson Young, and then the flick pass is outstanding. Just great awareness where his winger was and a great skill set. And Canberra Raiders from nothing score a try.
White did well to hold the ball. It almost slipped through his fingers. But then the work here from this man, Hudson Young, to get away from the Jolliffe tackle. But watch the offload. Watch this coming up. Oh, yes.
That's a beautiful pass. And Chris just sits out on the sideline. Patrick had actually gone in field. And as I said, real good awareness where his support players were coming from. Hudson Young, but put it down to their captain, or sorry, for their 5'8", Jack Whiten.
Hudson Young, he's been quite the player on an edge for Ricky Stewart, 24 years of age, signed until the end of 2024 in the capital. He's taken his try-scoring tally to his career high 7 this season, now assisted as well with a beautiful offload. Jamal Fogarty with the conversion attempt, 3 of 4 today, and most from out wide. This time he drags it to the left of the uprights.
Big Tino's coming on, boys, the trump card for the Titans. Adam Elliott, hip injury, may still be back later in the game, but what about the money ball, Flino? You mentioned about his skill, and he's got plenty of enthusiasm, but that is a wonderful pass by Hudson Young.
Yeah, to have a back row that's got the speed, the power, and then the ability to have a type of pass like that is such an advantage. And he just knows where to be. Hudson Young, as we saw on a kick try, and his positional play, the chase was outstanding.
So 27 minutes to play. The Raiders out by 14. They'll aim to wrap the game up in the next few minutes and then go about building a big total. They survive there to try and improve their points differential, because as I mentioned, victory here will have them alongside 8th placed Roosters in terms of premiership points, outside the 8 only on their points differential.
Yeah, and for the Titans, if you go back to that try, it was the kick at the end of it that was that bounce, and Hudson Young actually come up with possession on about the 40-metre line, and then you just go downfield, and obviously Hudson Young and Whiten involved again, and they score a try, but the Titans need to put it into the corners as Starling jumps out of dummy half.
Yeah, spotting who he thought was some tired Gold Coast forwards, turning them around quickly. Now Whiten stabs at the ball, putting it into the corner and having it pull up beautifully. That's where you want the Gold Coast starting their set.
What a kick and what a chase. He just leads by example.
Now Sutton trying to strip the ball one-on-one from Jojo Fafita. Philip Sami. The number of times I've seen Gold Coast try to go beyond their 20, and now they've cracked it. Sami away, chased by Chotrich. In fact, it was Hopewati. And he rounds up the opposition centre around the 40-metre line. Sexton. Fantastic run, Phil Sami. Repeatedly, they've been pinned in their 20. Now it's Isaac Liu. Passing for AJ Brimson, who thought about going to Kelly and dropped the ball instead. Xavier Savage counters, and Gold Coast need to be careful. A couple of exciting number ones out there, taking turns to run the ball. The idea from Brimson was right. If he passes to Kelly, Kelly scores. But the defence jolts the ball free.
Yeah, so, some real quality play there. They pulled them apart with a nice lead play, and obviously the run by Sami. But AJ Brimson going into traffic with the ball out in front, he needs to have better ball security. They haven't had really good field position. He just turns it over, and the Canberra Raiders, here they go.
Yeah, Sutton to Whiten to Hudson Young. And the tackle is made by Sami. Quick hands, Whiten. They go down the short side. Chris. So final play, they're inside the 20. It goes to Fogarty, who measures his kick, giving the likes of Corey Hudawita-Naida, who's out there now, a jump at the ball. A double last week to Corey, a winning double from Hudawita-Naida. What sort of impact can he have late here off the bench?
He's another one of those players like as we said, Hudson Young and Elliott, they just got something different about their game, and he's definitely a try scorer.
He spent time mid-season in the knock-on effect New South Wales Cup, such is the depth of the Raiders, and with Jordan Rapana still to return, maybe next week against Penrith, they'll almost be at completely full strength. The Raiders, here's Fermor breaking through. Beau Fermor has Jaden Campbell looming in support. Campbell streaks away. Fermor the break. Campbell the finish. There's still plenty of time here for the home team.
Yeah, an outstanding try. A really good fight back here. The Titans, they've looked really sharp. It's like he skips across the line and hits Beau Fermor, and we know how strong he is at the line, pulls through a couple of tackles, and Campbell screaming from the ball on the inside, and he thought he was going to run away from him. He had another second look and found his fullback. We knew he'd be supporting somewhere there. That's a powerful run. Got some good defenders there. And once again, really good support play and a nice pass. Positioned his fullback perfectly.
Beau Fermor angling his run straight at Jamal Fogarty, breaking the line. And at one stage, for a moment, it looked like Jaden Campbell's run was going to go unused, that he might overrun Fermor.
Well, it's very similar to the previous set when we said AJ Brimson, some really nice play. They put a dent in him, but he lost possession in the tackle. And on this occasion, they go through and they find the right pass and the right support player, and they come up with points.
So Toby Sexton converts 26-18. Still a hell of a lot of time, but this is Women in League round. I think it's the 16th Women in League round. Thanks to Harvey Norman, we celebrate the many women in league, be they fans who have filled the stands, be they players, supporters in terms of family members, wives, girlfriends, mothers, administrators. It really is a game for all. Play your part to change the story. Harvey Norman, Women in League round. So no Fodawaker. Can this comeback continue? The Titans scored last in the first half. Well, they've scored the last try here to get it back to single figures. Or do the Raiders close it out? Brian Kelly. Hard to think that Brian Kelly and Greg Marziu have been playing in the Queensland Cup in recent weeks. Marziu, Gold Coast leading try scorer, top 10 in the league for tackle busts. There's something that Justin Holbrook wants him to work on as we see Brimson get the kick away. And Xavier Savage lets that one bounce. It's favourable for the fullback at Canberra, but he's trapped inside his own 10.
Yeah, Ricky Stewart won't be happy with the two last defensive sets for the Canberra Raiders. There was two clear line breaks in that set after points. They marched themselves 60 to 70 metres, and then they come up with a kick, and they don't contest it on the first occasion and let it bounce. It's not what the Canberra Raiders are about, and that man there won't be happy.
Well, he's out of his seat. Just a little edgy sideline. Having twice found a double-figure lead, only to have it eaten into. Now Whiten kicks down his western sideline, but again picking out Jaden Campbell, who picks up plenty of metres on return.
Yeah, that's the difference, catching the ball on the full. Whiten goes early, but Campbell's awake to it. A beautiful catch and brings the ball back to 20 metres.
Barring injury, is Jaden Campbell your long-term fullback at Gold Coast, Shane?
Well, I think he's still learning his trade, but he's got some qualities you just can't coach. You know, he bobs up, he knows the game, he's electric across the field.
So AJ Brimson wearing one, but playing in the halves at the moment. Does it become a 14 next year, or who knows? The pass, though, knocked on by Tino Fa'asuamala-Awi. And at key moments of this game, big plays are bringing Gold Coast under.
Well, that's reserve grade. You know, this is just not good enough. The ball goes across the face. I don't know who it was directed for, whether it was directed for Tino. Big man, fatigue, trying to pick that ball up. Comes up with an error.
So you compare Canberra's spine together for the last month and 6 of the last 8 weeks against Gold Coast. It was a member of the spine making the mistake there. So much chopping and changing. Today only the 3rd time that the starting 1, 6, 7, 9 had been together. It's very hard to build continuity, momentum, as we see the kick here from Whiten. And Sebastian Chris leading the race, only needing a bounce. Xavier Savage actually got there first after the bounce, but couldn't pick it up on the fly. Right idea, only the final pick-up let them down.
Oh, I love the idea. The chase down, they just couldn't get the bounce, and I think if he had his time again, Savage, he'd like to put it on the boot, just steady up a little bit and have a second kick at it, but enterprising play.
Mate, that's exactly what Whiten wanted to do. He was filthy at that outcome, Flano. He expected him to put it on the toe because they would have scored because they had 2 or 3 chases.
They were in gold and silver position, weren't they, Billy? They could have towed ahead or taken their time to dive on the ball or pick it up at a slower rate, but the 20-year-old fullback, he continues that learning curve he's on. Shane, Xavier Savage.
You know, both fullbacks are in the same position, both young, just learning about the NRL. Both quality players.
So the Raiders, they invite more trouble from Gold Coast. Mo Fotuaika. Now in his 5th season of NRL at the Titans. Isaac Liu spots some room and takes it. Tanner Boyd for Sexton, big shot. Corey Hudawita-Naida stopping Sexton on the spot. Brimson kicks back towards the post. Campbell was there along with Sexton, but Hudson Young has a knack of being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, we spoke about it plenty of times. He scores tries and sets up tries. And then we just saw on that occasion, good anticipation, knew the kick was coming. What a tackle, Toby Sexton.
So the game is going up a gear over the last few minutes. Nick Chotrich playing the ball, 15 short of halfway. Here's Papawati. Canberra trying to make it 7 straight wins at Seabus Super Stadium. Having played there multiple times during the COVID Queensland camps. They've beaten the Titans twice during that 6-game winning run. And they go 7 straight on the Gold Coast over the last 17 minutes. Here's Whiten. His kick hoisted high for Campbell. In fact, it's for Fafita, who can't get a clean grab. Still the last. Chris, Grubbers, now Campbell's there. And Jaden Campbell plays the ball 6 metres out.
We spoke about Hudson Young down the other end of the field. Good anticipation on the kick. Exactly the same there. Campbell, really good awareness. Knew they had to get a kick away. Just hung back. Puts himself in a really good position and good hands.
Boyd finds Beau Fermor, a really hard-working edge forward. And Sexton tries the torpedo down the ground towards Xavier Savage, who looked like he was going to catch, then pulled out, reset, and makes the catch. There's been a couple of takes from Xavier that have been peculiar in this game.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to get some more if they get the opportunity. The Titans will be putting him down that middle part of the field. The Titans just can get some field position and just jag a try here. The Canberra Raiders look very fatigued and tired. Middle forwards, a few players with their hands on their hips and hands on their knees. A bit fatigued at the moment.
They should want a comeback victory as revenge. In round 3, the Titans led Canberra 22-0 and got beaten 24-22. So they started the rot for Gold Coast in season 22 as Fogarty had no option but to run straight into the grasp of Fermor. Last play, and it goes to Whiten. This time he angles the kick out towards the right wing where Timoko is through quickly. Herbert wasn't given the chance to jump for the ball. Timoko running into him before the ball arrived, and as a result, the penalty goes to the home team.
Yeah, he can argue as much as he likes there. He's not going to get that result changed.
Case.
Captain's challenge.
Canberra are challenging the tackle without the ball. I had him not going for the ball, not contesting the ball.
The replay makes this challenge interesting because there did seem to be
As a captain, mate, he's come over. That's
evidence
my
the
attention.
ball hit Herbert on the chest before Timoko arrived in the tackle. Let's have a look at the review and see whether this challenge
Chase
could
is
be
on
a
the
good
rider
one.
onside.
Jumping for the ball.
Does he have eyes for the ball? Does he know where the ball is?
Looking to see if Matt Timoko is genuinely contesting the ball.
Well, he's looking at the man there now to the ball.
What about that left arm, Case? Yeah, they'll work it out, Jack. Thanks, mate.
Jack White just lending his assistance to Casey Badger in the bunker. And Ben
Matt
Cummins on the
Timoko
ground.
is looking to the ball and attempting to play it up with his right hand. The challenge is successful.
Jack White,
Okay, so
good challenge.
Well, there you go. I was wrong.
play the ball to Canberra.
The Raiders are getting the ball back.
Good challenge.
One thing you got to also put
it's
credit,
not off
boys.
Gold Coast,
We
so
talk about
it's-
his kicking game, Jack White, in the 40-20s, but he's
Jack,
been
Jack.
on point. That was a great bomb there. Made it very difficult for the winger. So
Challenge is
he's
successful.
got everything.
So it's come off the Titans. It'll be a play the ball. Where would you like it? Middle, we'll go in the middle.
So they'll set up from the middle of the ground. 8 kicks today from Jack White, and it's been fantastic steering by the Canberra number 6.
Yeah, and he's halfback. You know, he's just sort of taken a back seat and let Jack do all the kicking. And it's really strange because Fogarty's strength is his kicking game, but Jack's been outstanding.
Gula winding up. He could spot the goal line and thought, I'll go in for my first try of the season. Now Tarpany. Joe Tarpany. Hard to stop from here, Joe. He reaches out. Big Joe. Too strong, too determined, and the teammates appreciate all of that. What a performance from a colossus of rugby league forwards right now.
He's one of the best front rows going around the game, without a doubt. He'll do it at both ends of the football field. He stands, he carries the ball strong. He's got so much skill, skips across the defensive line, and you could just see it happening. He knew where the try line was. He put it down in between Titans players' legs. Such a powerful, strong man, and a great awareness to where the try line is, and to get down low, and the skill set to hold that ball in his hand in that traffic is amazing.
Flemo, have you seen a forward that size have such good footwork? It's unbelievable. That's his trump card. He gets in between players.
That try reminds me a little bit of a try in 2016 that another big fella scored, Andrew Fafita.
Hey, Fafita, I was about to say. And at that time, he was one of the leading forwards in rugby league.
Yeah, they're a different shape and different type of footballer, but, you know, similar, Andrews used to skip across the line and be hard to tackle, and Tarpany exactly the same.
Well, Joe Tarpany, let's celebrate that performance and the sort of season he is building. But right now, Canberra have their highest total of the season alongside the 32 they put on Souths in Dubbo. Next up, after we're done here, a fantastic game looming on paper. Cronulla in the Shire against South Sydney. And you can see both teams preparing for their warm-up. Cronulla trying to get back on that winning streak that saw them surge inside the top 4. Dan Ganane, Steve Roach, Lara Pitt standing by to bring you that one. AJ, Alex Johnston, he keep the try-scoring run going. The short kick-off here from Gold Coast, and they almost got it back. But I don't want to get too far away from Joe Tarpany. Here's his accomplice, Josh Papali'i, averaging 152 run metres per game. Second only to Payne Haas in terms of the forwards with 155. Payne Haas making that huge return now. Another fantastic forward. Vasuamala Awi stripping the ball. And we'll go back to the Gold Coast. Strong contact there on Fafita. Now there's a whistle. David was complaining.
Thanks, Emre.
Here's Tino Fa'asuamala-Awi on Hudson Young to say, I'll have the ball, thank you very much. And now the contact on Fafita. Just a little bit for that replay. Everyone's calmed down. So no Fotuaika. Running straight at Papali'i and Gula. Here's Aaron Clark. Fafita now. Not given a lot of room today. Not a lot of eye-catching moments from David. And there's Isaac Liu, 10 metres out. Just a settling run in front of the posts. Midway through the set, Clark for Fa'asuamala-Awi. What are they setting up for here, the Titans? It's Isaac Liu. Dragged down by Young. Gula wraps the ball up. Final play. Campbell, the grubber. It's lost by Chotrich. Likewise, Gold Coast. Seb Chris has the ball. And the first knock on is a challenge here. Another one.
Casey, captain's challenge. Titans are challenging the 20 metre. Just checking, mate.
All chases on the right are onside.
So Chotrich has it
Clean
covered.
run to the ball. Nick Chotrich originally knocks the ball backwards in goal. Just looking to determine if Jojo Fafita knocks on.
Which he does.
Which he does, yes, correct.
It'll be challenge unsuccessful, back to the 20 metre line.
Jojo Fafita knocks on in the in goal. The challenge is unsuccessful.
Okay. Unsuccessful. Fafita knocks it on. Yeah, he knocks it on and he overruns it, so no more challenges left, Tino. Okay. You've got one challenge left. We've got a 20 metre. Just wait for my whistle there, Tom.
So a 7 tackle set here for Canberra. 11 and a bit to play. But there's a whole lot more still to come on Super Saturday. Cronulla against South Sydney, into Brisbane against West's Tigers. Just back to Alex Johnston's try scoring. One more tonight takes him alongside Josh Morris into the top 10 all time at 27. He needs 55 more to level the Ken Irvine medal, which he's won repeatedly. He has time to mow down that time-honoured record that stood since 1973, Shane.
Oh, without a doubt. He's a fantastic player, as we all know. The last couple of weeks, he's been sensational. The week against the Bulldogs, he was outstanding. He just, his ability to find the line, and a lot of the time he has to do a lot of work too, but what a player. I'm sure he'll break that record.
How many does he score, if any, against the defensive-minded Sharks? Up next on Fox League, here's Gula. Starling on to Fogarty. And Papali'i with the straight run. He was looking for an offload. Starling was there and waiting. Instead, it's a final play. But Fogarty go through the hands. Timoko, Savage, ball away for Harawira-Naida. He goes on to Fogarty. The kick, the grubber into the in-goal, perfectly weighted, and Jaden Campbell can only ground the ball.
Yeah, really smart play. They were all pointing for it. That's where they wanted to get it through. They knew there was a bit of space in behind, and they get a repeat set here just to applying the pressure now to the Titans, turning the screws a little bit more. 9 minutes to go. A lot of fatigue factor coming in to the Titans' defence. The Canberra Raiders coming home really strong.
Fogarty's 8th game back. The Raiders set to go 5-3 with Jamal in the halfback position. The short goal line dropout breaks the plane eventually.
Back off Titans and then Canberra knock on.
Knock on Raiders, so Gold Coast will get the ball back.
All teams going short these days. They're so good at it. On the early days when a lot of teams tried to start going short, there was a lot of penalties, the balls were going out, and they weren't getting possession, but it's such an advantage now as we see Gold Coast Titans with possession.
We're seeing a real swing towards the short goal line dropout, without a doubt. Back in 2016, Shane, the Premiership year, was it only when you were chasing points?
Yeah.
Now, Herbert. if you return to the coach's box sometime soon, Shane, would you embrace the short goal line dropout like the modern coaches seemingly have?
Well, I think they'd have to, but you need to have someone in your team that can execute it properly so you're not giving penalties away.
Oh, now it's been given away by Fa'asuamaleaui, thinking offload, just losing the ball. So can Canberra crack their biggest score of the season? Already joint top with the 32 they put on the Bunnies out west. Xavier Savage, Sebastian Chris. Chotrich gets the ball back to Savage. He fends away from Fafita, but straight into Sami. And a penalty to the Raiders. Stripping the ball, 2 in the tackle. And they're not done, the Green Machine. They're really setting up a game that's coming our way next weekend. Tell you more about that in a moment. Starling. Dummies to the left, looks to the right, stops, starts. What's going on here, says Gold Coast. Tarpany, they need to watch him. Scored in nearly identical fashion a moment ago. Here's Fogarty. Whiten. How willing is this goal line defence? Still 3 tackles to navigate for the Titans. Emre Gula. Straight and hard, felled by Fafita. Whiten it is, dummying. And they hold on grimly. Clark and Fafita again. Last play. Starling deep for Fogarty. This time the grubber off the legs of Fa'asuamaleaui. Was it played at? And now Tarpany has to free the arm. And that's the first. Played at by Fa'asuamaleaui. Papali'i now. On the rack here, the Titans. Starling to White, and the ball goes straight through his hands, called backwards by the referee. Seb Chris, he gets the ball away. Corey Harawira-Naida. He's a try-scoring expert off the bench all of a sudden. He doesn't look convinced that he's got to ground though.
Okay, I have not seen the ball on the in the goal line, please. Can you check it? Corey.
No try the call. Fresh from a double last weekend in the capital against the Warriors.
Yeah, well, it was a bit messy. Chris comes across the defensive line, skips across after a bad pass. And then he just finds Harawira-Naida on a little short pass. Whether he gets it down or not, I'm not quite sure. We haven't got to that stage yet. That's a bad pass.
Ball is knocked backwards from Jack Whiten. There's no obstruction.
No, it's just clear, mate.
They can't rule on the pass if you're questioning that at home. So the only question is, does that ball hit the goal line? It's called.
Ball is originally
no try.
short, just looking at all angles to see if it ever gets down.
Has to be convincing evidence to the contrary, and so far there is none of that, Shane. Ooh.
Still looking to see if we can see the ball on the ground once it crosses the goal line.
I think the ball touches the grass, but I couldn't tell you that I've got categoric proof of that.
Referee's in a fantastic position. There's his black sock.
Based on all available camera angles, we'll be supporting the on-field decision.
One of those instances where, had they reviewed it after he'd blown the try, it would have stood. You couldn't count it out, but given that it went up no try, that's the way it stays.
No, it'll go out of 10. Tackle 3. Corey, tackle 3.
I thought Corey might have sold it a bit
This
better
way
after
there.
his try scoring last week. Complete with celebration
Marcus.
for try July. So still 3 plays left here for the Raiders after a long review. Time for Gold Coast to regroup. Now Ryan Sutton driving his way forward. Here's Whiten, Savage, Seb Chris. He'll stroll through. That's easy. Seb Chris did it at half pace. Did it with his eyes shut. And the Canberra Raiders go to the Gold Coast and rack up their biggest score of the season.
Well, Matt, you said they had 3 tackles to get it done. They'd put him under an enormous amount of pressure. It was a beautiful pass for dummy half to Jack White, and then it just goes through the hands. And then Christie, just too powerful, pushes through 2 defenders to get the ball down. They had numbers. He could have passed if he needed to, but he knew he was too close, too big and too strong.
2 tries, Seb Chris, 2 Nick Chotrich, Joe Tarpany, Hudson Young, Matt Timoko. So 7 tries to 3 as Chris goes in for his double and his team's 7th.
And it's been a good second half by the Canberra Raiders. Oh, they haven't been clinical, but they've just got points when they needed to. They've gone down. They've been powerful. Some of their better players have stood up. I like the combination of their back rowers. And obviously with the young fullback getting better and better each week, you never know. Come semi-final team time in good form, they could cause a bit of drama. Great to see him smiling in that huddle.
Jamal Fogarty, he's enjoyed a win against his former club, first time against the Titans, where he emerged in his mid-20s, a late debutant. Played so well, he wins a contract at Canberra, and he could just be headed to the finals with Canberra. The kicking, the start that was so good has deserted him. Latrell Mitchell and South Sydney. Well, they've certainly got eyes for the finals all of a sudden, haven't they? Winning their last 4, most recently 24-12 against Melbourne. Win, and it could be 5th, lose, they'll stay 7th. So there's a bit on the line in the next game to come as well.
Yeah, Latrell's been outstanding. He just gives that whole team an air of confidence. Obviously, he helps Cody Walker, and he's back playing good football. And as they run out, as I said, that team just feels so confident with him in their team.
Short kickoff, won't go the 10. It'll be a penalty at halfway to Canberra. There is the Raiders' run home, and next Saturday against Penrith in Canberra, with Nathan Cleary to be suspended. He'll miss the rest of the regular season with an early plea to that dangerous throw. No Jerome Luai either. Who knows whether Stephen Crichton is back. And all of a sudden, Ricky Stewart looks up next weekend and thinks, well, we've got a red-hot chance of taking down the Premiers in Canberra to continue our surge towards the finals.
Yeah, and Ricky's done a really good job there. You know, in form, they've got a couple of back-to-back wins. And, you know, they're playing against, as you said, a Panthers side with a few out. But, you know, Ricky won't be talking about the players who are out for the Penrith Panthers. He'll be more talking about what they need to do and getting ready for a big game. If they can get that job done next week down in Canberra, they're on a roll.
Ryan Sutton, straight and hard. Ryan Sutton finishes up right on top of the goal line, held up by Fasur Malawi.
Thanks, Dino. Just pass it to him, mate.
There's a few forwards looking to get off the mark this season. Emre Gula, Ryan Sutton, both of them having red-hot cracks at the line. Hadawida with an offload. He pushes the pass on the second tackle and hands it over. He was being applauded late in the game last week. Not so for that play right there. Ricky Stewart gives his 5/8 a break and his congratulations. But back to last night's game, Penrith Parramatta, it's taken its toll. Both halves out. Nathan Cleary suspended. Mitch Moses broken finger. Rest of the season, regular season that is, on the sideline. So they have a tough road ahead, Parramatta Eels, in terms of draw, but also now down a man.
Yeah, well, if you talk about the Penrith Panthers and Nathan Cleary, Parramatta have just, he's as valuable to Parramatta as Cleary is to Penrith. So that's a big loss. And he won't be back, maybe not to the semi-final series. And Parramatta need to keep on their winning way. Penrith, they're in the semi-finals. They'll probably get the minor premiership. So it's a big loss for Parramatta.
Dan Ganane, Steve Roach, Lara Pitt standing by to bring you Cronulla against South Sydney from the Shire. Then Andrew Voss, Michael Ennis, Corey Parker, Brisbane against West's Tigers. We return to the Sunshine State where it hasn't shone on Gold Coast this afternoon in terms of a win. It'll be 9 straight defeats and continuing pressure for Justin Holbrook. There's the live ladder. And look at the Raiders going alongside the Roosters, separated only by that gulf that is the points differential.
Yeah, well done, Canberra Raiders. But, you know, for the Gold Coast Titans, that's just awful football. You know, they've been under pressure on their try line. They finally get the football. They march themselves upfield, and they come up with some poor decisions.
So looking at that live ladder, they need to win an extra game than the Roosters, you'd imagine, over the last 5 rounds.
Yep.
But they do, barring Penrith, only play bottom 8 teams, the Raiders. So next week is a huge game for them.
Can't be too worried about the for and against and what other teams are doing. Just concentrate on, you know, that's, I'm sure Ricky's job. I'm sure all the coaches in, you know, that fight for the semi-finals, just concentrate on what we can control, and that's our form and the way we play.
The kick here by Fogarty will be marked in goal by Patrick Herbert. So maybe the first kick mistake by Fogarty of the game, inconsequential given the scoreboard. They've doubled Gold Coast's tally.
He hasn't had to do much. Jack Whiten's done most of the kicking, so he's taken a back seat in that department.
Now Fasuamala-Awi, the flick offload for Brian Kelly. Kelly holds the pass, goes to Bo Fermor. Fermor brushing away. Here's Campbell in support. And Jaden Campbell, second game back. Try double today. There's a bright point on another dark afternoon for the Titans. But Bo Fermor, Jaden Campbell, 2 of the Titans' better players this afternoon.
Yeah, well, it's Big Tino again. He just keeps putting his hand up for work. And we talk about flick passes. That's a beautiful pass. And then they find Bo Fermor. He had to do a lot of work. He goes in and out. Powerful, good fend. And as we know, Jaden Campbell pushing up in support in the middle part of the field, finishes it off. All too late for the Gold Coast Titans.
So is it a game that raises more questions than answers about the Titans' spine going future? Brimson and Campbell, the fullback options. Clark, Booth, and maybe Tanner Boyd, 9 options. Then you've got Sexton and one of the discarded 9s or fullbacks in the halves, but Kieran Foran coming. Good luck working that out for 2023.
Yeah, well, we said at the start of the game, they've got some quality players in their team. Their front row with Big Tino in there, you know, outstanding, one of the best players in the competition. Their edge back rowers, we just saw there, Fermor making some breaks, Fafita. They've got some quality players right through the team. They've just got to get that spine right, you know, and basically over today, and defensively it hasn't been up to scratch.
Jaden Campbell, a double off the bench, sent into the game late in the first half. The big numbers of this contest, though, owned by the Raiders. Joe Tarpany, nearly 170 run metres, 7 tackle busts, beating last week's season high 6. He's gone to 7, 4 offloads, a try. He's been huge, sin binned as well in everything. Ably supported by Josh Papali'i, Adam Elliott, who picked up that hip injury as reported by Billy Moore earlier in the game. So a comprehensive display, a big performance by their middle forwards again. Canberra chasing Fasuamala-Awi here down the sideline. His pass to AJ Brimson, it's put down. And the final play of the game, it promised so much, it finished with so little. And as a result, the Raiders celebrate a 12-point victory. 7 tries to 4. They do it comfortably. They make it 3 straight wins, and they set up a big, big game against the Premiers, Penrith. Back in Canberra next weekend. It's mission accomplished on the Gold Coast. Canberra 36 beat Gold Coast 24.